topic for quite some time, especially the fact that Lake County works under an alternate formula for the distribution of local government funds. Earlier you might have heard me make mention of things getting lost to history. So one of the things I like to do is drill down on things to understand what we're looking at. So normally I bring things forward about the time that they're a little bit more mature and in their final form, but the last thing I want to be dealing with is hearing what did you know and when did you know it. So with that said, the local government fund formula, Exhibit A, as was adopted, I believe, in July of 1982, has reliance for population data. And if I may read the pertinent paragraph, in the event population figures are no longer available from the U.S. Office of Revenue Sharing, a majority of the legislative bodies of all of the participants must agree by motion on what alternate source to use, period, new sentence. If a majority consensus is not agreed upon, the final decision shall be made by the Budget Commission, period. New paragraph, this titled, Notices to Budget Commission, certified copies of minutes containing all motions passed by the various legislative bodies of the participants shall be forwarded to the Budget Commission within 10 days after passage, period. It appears that all member parties are in violation of the agreement. We've been working under this for about 40 years. In September of 1986, that's 36 years ago, the Office of Revenue Sharing ceased to exist. Let's see, the background on this is the General Revenue Sharing Program as authorized in State and Local Fiscal Assistance Act of 1972. The General Revenue Sharing Program was extended 3 times before finally expiring on September 30th of 1986. That's almost a 15-year life of the GRS program from 1972 through 1986, and there was more than $83 billion transferred from the federal government to state and local governments. From 1972 to 1980, states received approximately 1/3 of the grants and local governments received 2/3. State governments were excluded from the GRS at the beginning of 1981 in that fiscal year. We are looking into this, and when I say we, the prosecutor's office is putting a diligent effort into determining if this is something that is voidable, where we stand, and what the potential ramifications are. There are a number of communities that have been researching as to what to do to change things, and they were always stymied. A little deeper analysis indicates that the document itself, the instrument that we've all been adhering to in terms of how the distributions have gone, has not been actually being followed. So again, I just in full disclosure, very early in this analysis, the prosecutor's office is on this. Charles Colson is taking this extremely seriously. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. Legal, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, or did I pretty much summarize it appropriately, sir?
I think you summarized it pretty well, Commissioner. Nothing to add.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Morgan McIntosh, trustee in Concord Township, presently serving as chairman of the board, and also here as the president of the Lake County Township Association. The reason that I'm here, I did want to thank the commissioners for taking up. I know at the meeting last week, Commissioner Hamercheck did bring up something with regard to the local government fund, and I wanted to just add a depth of comment about that topic. For those who aren't aware, the local government fund is driven out of state tax dollars that are apportioned out to the counties, by which then each county has a formulation and distributes funds to the local governments to run their operations. Lake County adopted a formulation back in 1982 that took effect in '83, and I heard about this as a resident of Concord Township long before I was a trustee, and when I was dialoguing with my predecessors about the nature of township finances, and then when I studied it as a candidate in 2019 to understand how township finance works. What I was told and became aware of at the time is that the formula had a window of renewal every 5 years to be looked at, but that hadn't spent any time being examined, and it was just something that has been as every year ticks by, and now we're at 40 years, I understand the heavy lift it is to untie those kind of years of knots and so forth. So it's just been something that nobody's has really taken the time to look into. Well, last year, the Lake County Township Association decided that was something we wanted to spend a little bit of time examining. And I did want to thank my colleagues in Madison Township for taking some time to start that ball rolling, to start looking at some of those things which have brought certain things to light, to which Commissioner Hamercheck had referenced. And I know that becoming aware of it has sort of helped move things along a bit. So I just wanted to thank you for taking the time and attention to do that. Why is this such an important issue for townships? Well, as I said, this was a formulation that was constructed 40 years ago, and obviously the makeup of the county 40 years ago was a lot different than it is today. And referencing our conversation last year, we're looking at the townships now representing 30% of the county population. But the formulation model seems like it's weighted back to the way the county was set up 40 years ago. So statutorily, townships are not the same as cities. We don't collect income taxes. We're a more lean government. We rely on county resources, engineering, law enforcement, in some cases legal services. So our budgets are smaller, and the fact that the township portions of the local government fund is not on parity with where our population and or property values are is something that's a bit of a concern, and we are eager to look at that. I understand that in something like this, there will eventually be winners and losers, and the Township Association isn't necessarily here to try to pick fights in municipalities, but as whatever unravels from what's being looked at and how this is being examined, we want to work constructively and be part of the conversation as far as helping you. And again, I want to thank you for giving this matter some attention. It certainly deserves it, and we would like to continue our work and work with you, and whatever we can do to support the effort of a constructive re-examination of the issue is what we would like to do. So just want to thank you for that, and thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you.